What's going on, guys? Jason here, back to my channel, and tonight will be a review of Raw's episode and stuff. And it was okay, yesterday night, because yesterday was Monday. So yeah. Anyways, we could just, it was about like 6 matches and stuff, and blah blah, and yeah. It was a little funny because R-Truth was on there and stuff, and man, R-Truth makes me laugh, and he's so hilarious. He was funny on this one too, cause man, what he was, want, like which side he was on and stuff. So yeah, it was good and stuff, and with him in it. But yeah, let's get to it and enjoy the video if you want. Monday Night Raw, the usual Then Now Forever Together thing. Then we shoot inside the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon, where Drew McIntyre is standing in the ring. This is the Scottish Warrior talks about coming up short last week against Seth Rollins in his attempt to capture the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. He mentions how he thinks he needs to take some time away from WWE. He then mentions now he didn't lose straight up, only lost because of Damian Priest's near cash in. As he continues to talk, he takes a shot at CM Punk, saying maybe he should leave for 9 years and come back to a hero's reception. CM Punk's theme hits on that note, and out he comes. He talks about being in Roddy Piper country. He says McIntyre didn't wear a kilt tonight, but then maybe fans would actually like him if he did. He talks about Piper being known for talking, and says if McIntyre has something he wants to say about Punk, he'll just stand right here and let him say it to his face. McIntyre says he will. He says it's been over a month and Punk is still here. He's surprised by that. He mentions he's got a bet with some of the other wrestlers about how long Punk will last. Punk says that's good with a smile. Drew McIntyre talks about how CM Punk has affected him in many ways. Too many to list, so he'll just mention one. He talks about how he's one of few who used to travel the world with CM Punk and WWE years ago. He talks about how he had demons back then, and when Punk would announce to everyone that he was the locker room leader. He says he didn't act like one, and back then he needed one. He mentions how Punk isn't a leader; he's selfish. He tells Punk he's his leader, and now calls him a kid. McIntyre lays on the ropes in arrogant fashion. Punk says he never called himself a leader. He says he led by example, but called himself a savior. I remember that. He says if he wants his hand held, he can shave his head, and we can bring back the straight society. I remember that. I remember when that happened, man. It was everybody hated CM Punk around that time. So, yeah, he says if he ain't a leader, who did McIntyre walk out of this company? He says he follows his lead on the way out by leaving WWE and coming back stronger. Punk says he's back just like McIntyre came back. Punk says he's a nice guy, not a demon, but then provoked he's Satan himself. He says he thinks it might be time to tap into that side of himself. By the way, Drew is talking. He says he's here to win the Royal Rumble. He captures the title at WrestleMania, not to make friends. Drew says he'll be in the Rumble too, and if he sees him there, he'll take him out and win the title and do it for himself. Punk says it's getting spicy in here, so he's gonna lead by example and walk off before he knocks Drew's teeth down his throat. Punk tells Drew he's such a nice guy that at the Rumble he's gonna throw him out last. He walks off as Drew smiles. Wow, that's crazy. All right, the first match, Finn Balor versus Tommaso Ciampa. It's time for opening match action now on this week's show as the Judgment Day theme hits, and out comes Finn Balor with Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest by his side. He settles in the ring for his advertised one-on-one showdown against DIY's Tommaso Ciampa. Next, on that note, we head to quick pre-match commercial break. When we turn from the break, we see Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano walking the hallways backstage as Ciampa cuts a promo about how DIY is after tag team goal in 2024. As they settle in the ring, we see footage of R-Truth's interaction backstage with Balor and Priest talking about DIY, calling Balor a scaredy cat. The bell sounds off and we go. Balor and Ciampa lock up, and then we start getting after some basic back and forth action. We see Ciampa start to pull ahead as he ends up on the floor. We see he and Priest in an intense stare off before he goes back to work on Balor, who takes over control of the offensive momentum in the match. As we head into a mid-match commercial timeout, as we sail back in from the commercials, we see Ciampa fighting back into competitive form before ultimately pulling off the victory after Priest and Gargano get involved at ringside. So yeah, Tommaso Ciampa won. Alright, Kofi Kingston versus Louis Kaiser after a quick Becky Lynch promo backstage where she talks about things between herself and Nia Jax not being over yet. We head back inside the Moda Center. Michael Cole announces CM Punk as the guest for the Jackie Redmond show on the NHL YouTube channel for this Thursday night. The theme for Kofi Kingston hits after that, and now he comes as a New Day member. So inside the ring, we shift gears and head into a quick pre-match commercial. When we return, we see Louis Kaiser of Imperium, makes his way down to the ring. We see Kaiser jump into an early lead, yelling at Kingston for injuring Giovanni Vinci last week. While he does so, we head into a mid-match break on that roll. When we return, we see Kingston fight his way back into the offensive lead as the Portland crowd comes to life. The two end up on the floor where they each get counted, which sees this one end via double countout. After the match, Kingston dives onto Kaiser from the ring to the floor. The two are pulled apart, but keep fighting. Kaiser slams a computer's swivel chair into Kingston's dome to completely lay him out. He wasn't done there, however, as he put Kingston face first on the steel steps and beats him down some more. He runs around the ring and drop kicks his face into the steel steps with vicious authority. The officials call for a medical out from the back as the crowd boos. So yeah, double count out for that match. Alright, Rhea Ripley confronts Nia Jax. Excuse me. When we turn, Louis Kaiser is stopped backstage and asks about his actions after we see replays of what he just did to Kofi Kingston. He talks about being alone tonight to carry the weight of Imperium, by himself. He says Kofi took Vinci's head, so he took his, and he deserved it. Back in the arena, Michael is injured in the ring. Cole introduces Nia Jax, who makes her way down to the ring. Cole asks her about her win over Becky Lynch last week and busting her face again. She takes offense to him calling it an upset. She talks about her plans to go through 29 women at the Royal Rumble to earn a shot at either Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. Nothing, no one can stop her. This is my brutality hits, and out comes Mommy to a huge pop. WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley emerges and heads to the ring to confront Nia Jax. Ripley talks about how Jax talks a big game, but points out that she beat Lynch and Lynch isn't Rhea Ripley. She brags about eliminating Jax in her last Rumble match and warns her to keep her hand out of her mouth. Jax tells Ripley she gives her all the credit in the world. She might be the most dominant champion in women's history, but tells her not to forget that she put her on her ass when she came back. She says the only reason she doesn't hold her title is because Ripley is afraid to face her one-on-one. She says when she wins the Rumble, she's going to choose her and she'll then have no excuse but to face her. She tells her she'll see her soon and walk off. Alright, the third match. Undisputed WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Kayla Carter and Katana Chance versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Now it's time for some championship action after we see a video package looking back at The Rock's surprise at last week's WWE Day 1 Special Edition Raw. Monday Night Raw. We return inside the Moda Center where former Undisputed WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Chelsea Green and Piper Niven make their way down to the ring. As the former champs settle in for their rematch for the goal, we head to a quick pre-match commercial break again. When we return, we see Cody Rhodes backstage for an interview, which turns into a pull-apart brawl with Shinsuke Nakamura. Adam Pearce yells at them to save it for the main event showdown later tonight. Back in the arena, the theme for the defending tag champs, and out comes Katana and Kane Carter with the smoke guns. They head to the ring, and the bell sounds to get this one officially off and running. After the former champ duo of Niven and Green settle into an early offensive lead, we head into a mid-match break. When we return, we see Carter trying to get the hot tag. She comes in and helps shift the momentum back into her team's favor. Chance hits a big hurricanrana on Green off the rope for a super close near fall attempt. We see the entire WWE Women's locker room watching on as the action continues in the ring. Niven tags in and helps take over, however she is ultimately outsmarted by the tag champs, as when Niven goes up for a Vader bomb, they move out of the way and pull Green into their spot. Niven splashes onto Green, and then Carter and Chance hit their keg stand finisher for the win to retain their tag titles. Winners and still undisputed WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Kayden Carter and Katana Chance. Special R-Truth interview. This is funny. We head to a special R-Truth interview segment. It features Truth as a talking head, talking with the sincere voice about how since he was a baby, he dreamed about being in the Judgment Day. Various footage is shown as some Photoshop pictures of Truth as a baby dressed up in Judgment Day colors and gear. He says, as we always say in the Judgment Day, live, laugh, and love. A graphic flashes on the screen with that motto and a photo of the Judgment Day guys. Oh man, that was funny. I couldn't stop laughing. That was a good one. Let me see how many matches are here real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're on the fourth match. The Miz versus JD McDonough. After that wraps up, we see the Judgment Day in their smoky clubhouse. McDonough complains about the Truth interview, but Priest thought it was funny. Ripley asks, when are they gonna take Truth serious? Priest says when the time comes, he'll handle it. Ripley brings up DIY and Balor gets fired up. Priest asks why aren't they doing anything about Drew McIntyre. Ripley says they don't need Drew as an enemy. Priest asks if it was smart to make Nia Jax an enemy. Ripley says she'll handle it. Ripley tells McDonough he needs to handle The Miz tonight. Back in the arena, Miz theme hits and out he comes for our next match of the evening. We head to a break. When we return, JD McDonough makes his way, accompanied by Dominic Mysterio. The bell rings. The bell sounds. Excuse me. And we're freshly off and running with this one. Immediately, we see R-Truth standing next to Dom at ringside, cheering on McDonough or Miz or both. He's wearing his custom Judgment Day shirt with his name at it, and of course, Dom wants nothing to do with him. At points, it seems like he's cheering on Miz, but when McDonough confronts him on it, he claims he's cheering for him. In the end, we see Truth and Dom play a factor as McDonough goes for a spot on the floor, but gets taken out by a dropkick from Miz. Through the ropes, back in the ring, Miz hits a skull-crushing finale for the win. After the match, we see Ripley upset backstage saying this can't happen. She has plans she wants to lay out for the next week. So yeah, the winner was The Miz. Alright. So 5, 6. We're almost finished. Alright. So Seth freaking Rollins confronted by Jinder Mahal. We head to another break as Seth Rollins is shown walking the hallways backstage, his Joker dancing strut. When we return, a graphic airs to hype The Rock breaking WWE's all-time social media record with over 171 million combined views across their various outlets for his return at WWE Day 1. From there, we hear Burn It Down, and comes out the reigning WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins to a big pop. He makes his way to the ring. He begins talking about how he's never gone into WrestleMania as a champ with his name on the marquee. He looks forward to doing that this year. He says the question is who will be defending his title against on the grand stage of the mall. Fans chant for CM Punk. Around says he wishes he talks about the Raw roster being loaded right now. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Before he can continue, Jinder Mahal's theme music, out comes the modern day Maharaja to interrupt the champ. He gets in the ring and trash talks to Mahal, talks about Rollins looking past him and how that's disrespectful to him. As a former champ, he brags about beating Randy Orton in the past. I remember that. He says he finally has Rollins' attention. Rollins says he's right. We have been overlooking Mahal. He says it wasn't an accident. They actually did it on purpose, but they've been trying to forget him until he showed up last week and The Rock put his balls in a vice. He says he admires that after The Rock fried him last week, he came back and stood up. He says he respects that, but what he doesn't respect is him interrupting his party and getting in his face. He says, so yeah, you've got my attention. Rollins tells Jinder to take a swing and do something to be remembered forever for it. It doesn't look like Mahal going to. So Rollins says that's what he thought. Same old Jinder. As Rollins goes to walk away, Mahal attacks him from behind. Rollins fights back and beats Mahal down. Mahal retreats to the back of the ring. As Rollins stands tall inside the square circle, we've seen Shinsuke Nakamura roaming up backstage. Alright, the fifth match. Yeah, we're almost finished, guys. Uh, so here we go. Otis versus Ivar. Back inside the arena, we hear the familiar sound of the theme music for Cammy. On that note, out comes Otis, accompanied by Akira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree. He settles inside the square circle for our next match of the evening as we head into a quick pre-match commercial break. When we return, Michael Cole and Wade Barrett promo tickets going on sale for this week. For WWE Backlash France and the Go Home SmackDown show for the plea later this year. From there, we see Otis in the ring, awaiting the arrival of his opponent for this advertised one-on-one showdown. On that note, the horns and sirens sound, and out comes Ivar, accompanied by Valhalla, one half of the Viking Raiders, settles in the ring as we see an earlier today digital segment that saw Ivar and Valhalla bullying Akira Tozawa and leading into the match with us tonight. Back live, the bell sounds, and off we go with the one. We see World's Strongest Slam early on for a big pop. Ivar hits a big running seated prop bomb on Otis. Soon after a close near fall attempt, Otis fights back and hits his caterpillar spot for a big pop from the crowd. He goes for the cover, and Ivar kicks out at the count of two. Ivar hits a cartwheel into a spinning heel kick, and then a top rope moonsault for the win. Alright. Ivar won. Alright, main event, Jey Uso. A big Bronson Reed eyeing WWE GOAT in 2024. We see Jackie Redmond backstage, and WWE's own personal Megan Fox introduces her special guest at this time. Main event, Jey Uso, and he comes yelling "Yeet" and boasting about how he's gonna win his first singles championship in WWE in 2024. As he continues talking up walks Big Bronson Reed, mocking him for being Jimmy Uso's little brother. He tells Uso he's looking for gold in 2024 too, and warns him not to get in his way. He walks off, and then we head into another commercial break. So yeah, we're almost finished, guys. Let me get my drink real quick. So yeah, anyways. Alright, the main event. Cody Rhodes versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a street fight. It's main event time. When we return from the break, Michael Cole and Wade Barrett announce some action for next week's episode of WWE Monday Night Raw as the road to Royal Rumble to WWE Royal Rumble 2024 continues. Next Monday night, WWE Raw will feature a jam-packed lineup. On tap for the show next week is the return of WWE Intercontinental Champion Gunther Seth freaking Rollins versus Jinder Mahal for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The Judgment Day duo of Finn Balor and Demon Priest square off against the Awesome Truth duo of The Miz and R-Truth, as well as DIY versus Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough. Back inside the Modo Center, the rock violins begins playing to the theme for our first of two comparative schedule for our final match of the evening, which has been changed into a street fight. Shinsuke Nakamura heads to the ring as the King of Strong Style settles in the ring. We head to a pre-match break. As we sail back in from break, the familiar sound of Cody Rhodes' theme hits, and out comes the American Nightmare to a huge pop and ton of pyro as the stage is set. for our Street Fight main event of the evening. The commentators bring up their history in recent weeks and brawl backstage earlier tonight. The bell sounds and we're officially off and running with our main event of the second WWE Monday Night Raw show of 2024. The fans immediately break out loud. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Cody chant before anything happens. They finally start to get after it. Very quickly, the action spills out on the floor. Cody and Shinsuke fight up to the top of the entrance ramp. They continue to brawl outside of the ring as we shift gears and head into a mid-match commercial break. When we return, we see Nakamura dominating the offense for several minutes, taking it to the American Dream. Near the commentary desk, we see Nakamura look to spray the poison mist into the eyes of Cody, only for Cody to avoid it, and it gets sprayed into a ringside production crew guy. Cody stops to try and get help for the guy, allowing him Nakamura to blast him with a steel chair. Take over. We head into another mid-match break. On that note, we're back from the break, and we see Nakamura still being down Cody as replays are shown of the miss and chair spot to catch those who are tuning in. Back in the ring, Cody starts to fight back into competitive form before ultimately taking back over. He stops and heads out to the ringside area. When he pulls a table out from under the ring for a huge pop, Rhodes brings the table into the ring and set it up, but Nakamura takes back over the offensive lead. He lays Cody on the set table and heads to the top rope. He comes flying off with double knees to put Cody through the table. Nakamura brings another table into the ring and leans it long ways in the corner. The American Nightmare starts to show signs of life and begins fighting back as the crowd rallies behind him. The fans start chanting Cody, and Rhodes lets out a war of scream. He picks Nakamura up, looking for the crossroads, but Nakamura counters with a roll-up. Cody kicks out. Cody put Nakamura through a table in the corner and follows up with crossroads for the win. Cody celebrates the win, and that's how this week's show goes on there. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, Cody Rhodes defeated Shinsuke Nakamura. So yeah, that was good. It was okay. Tonight and stuff, and not too bad, but whatever. AEW does a more better job, than WWE. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, it was okay. Not too much. I mean, at least CM Punk and R-Truth, R-Truth was more entertaining because he made us laugh and stuff, and yeah, it was very good. And let's see what's next Monday happens. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but there's just seeing. So anyways, that was it, and hope you guys stay warm and stuff. Kind of cold tonight and all that, but yeah. Anyways, that was it. Now I'll see you all in the next video. Laters.